The film opens with a chilling historical reference stating that approximately 2,300 years ago, the first recorded case of hydrophobia was documented. The term refers to an intense fear of water and is also known as the most dangerous symptom of the rabies virus. From that point onward, the story truly begins. Amid darkness and dense vegetation, a seemingly calm veterinarian appears, as his task seems simple: to vaccinate a chimpanzee named Ben. At first, the animal appears docile and innocent, sitting unusually still. However, that calm lasts only a few seconds before he violently attacks the doctor, killing him and brutally disfiguring his face. After the attack, news reports explain that chimpanzees have begun to speak and understand up to 300 words, which has led many people to raise them as domestic animals. The narrative then shifts back 35 hours before the incident with the veterinarian, and we meet Lucy, who is boarding a flight to Hawaii to return home. During the flight, while speaking with her sister on the phone, a boy trips over her, grabs her teddy bear, laughs, and apologizes. The situation seems ordinary at that moment. Lucy continues the call with her sister Erin, who is at home with the chimpanzee, and says everything is ready for her arrival. After hanging up, Lucy speaks with her best friend Kate and arranges to spend the weekend at her house. Shortly afterward, Hannah, a friend of Kate, arrives and begins talking to Phil, a friend of Drew, the boy who had bumped into Lucy. Drew helps Lucy with her luggage, while Hannah shows interest in Phil by asking for his number. Already on the plane, Hannah realizes she is sitting in Lucy's assigned seat, but decides to remain in the middle seat so she can chat with both of them during the flight. When they arrive at their destination, Kate's brother is waiting to drive them to Lucy's house. During the ride, it becomes clear that he is flirting with Hannah, making Lucy uncomfortable. Upon arriving, Lucy reunites with her father Adam, who is deaf and communicates through sign language. At that moment, he is discussing a possible publishing contract for his book that has not yet been finalized. Despite his concern, his expression completely changes when he sees his daughter. Later, Kate introduces Hannah to Adam and informs him they will be staying there over the weekend. When Kate's brother appears, it becomes evident that Lucy feels attracted to him, noticeable in her glances and behavior. Soon after, Lucy reunites with her sister Erin, who shows resentment for having been left alone the entire time Lucy was away. Trying to ease the tension, Lucy gives the chimpanzee the same teddy bear seen on the plane, creating a moment of reconnection between the sisters. It is then revealed that Ben uses a tablet with an application that converts typed messages into voice in order to communicate. He is formally introduced to Hannah, as Kate and her brother already knew him. Later, while Hannah explores the house, she notices old photographs of Lucy. At that moment, Kate's brother approaches and explains that their mother passed away some time ago and had been a primatologist, a scientist who studies monkeys and their species to understand their behavior and relationship with humans, and she had been the one who brought Ben to live there. After the conversation, he offers Hannah a cigarette and flirts before leaving her alone in the silent hallway. Hannah continues walking through the house until she reaches the large, empty swimming pool. Suddenly, Ben appears beside her, and upon staring at the water, shows clear signs of hydrophobia. He displays typical rabies symptoms such as agitation, excessive sweating, drooling, and difficulty breathing. Ben extends his hand toward Hannah, but when she, frightened, attempts to respond, he becomes aggressive and tries to bite her. At that moment, Adam appears, uses a whistle to control him, and quickly leads him away. Afterward, he reassures Hannah, explaining that Ben reacted that way because she is a stranger, and suggests she go rest. Later, while taking the chimpanzee to the cage located in the same dense vegetation seen at the beginning of the film, Adam finds a dead animal that appears to be a mongoose. He panics at the thought that Ben may have fought with it. Upon closer examination, he notices a bite mark on the chimpanzee and decides to lock him up as a precaution. The next morning, Adam tells his daughters that a mongoose entered the cage and bit Ben. He sent the animal's body for testing out of concern that a dangerous disease might have been transmitted to Ben. He also states that he will call Dr. Lambert to evaluate him. Before leaving for a few days on a work trip, the family shares an emotional farewell. After his departure, the young people try to relax by spending time in the pool. Hannah grows increasingly close to Kate's brother, which clearly makes Lucy jealous. To change the subject, Lucy suggests that Hannah call the attractive boys they met on the plane. With a provocative smile, Hannah challenges Lucy to make the call herself, and Lucy accepts, intensifying the tension between them. Shortly afterward, Kate's mother calls to remind them to feed the fish, but Lucy answers. Suddenly, Kate feels sick and begins vomiting. Lucy immediately takes her to the bedroom so she can rest. The strong bond between them becomes evident, as both wear necklaces that form a heart when joined, symbolizing their friendship. Later, Hannah speaks privately with Kate's brother, and he states directly that he sees Lucy only as a younger sister and could never be involved with her. Then he kisses Hannah. Unnoticed by them, Lucy witnesses the scene and is devastated. Meanwhile, Dr. Lambert arrives to examine Ben, who is frightened and aggressive. The narrative returns to Kate, who feels slightly better and decides to step outside for fresh air, but on the way finds the teddy bear. Suddenly, Ben appears before her, different from before, staring at her in a strange and threatening manner. Frightened, Kate hides and calls Lucy. When Lucy comes downstairs, Ben has already disappeared. Suddenly, screams echo from the pool area, and everyone runs there. For a moment, Ben appears calm, but Kate's brother realizes the animal has deadly intentions. After hesitating briefly, he grabs a rope to tie him. Ben resists at first, but Lucy soothes him by pretending affection, allowing him to be restrained through deception. When they attempt to call Dr. Lambert, an unsettling silence fills the environment as they realize the ringing phone is coming from inside Ben's cage. At that moment, Aaron arrives and is shocked to see the chimpanzee tied up. However, Ben bites through the rope, frees himself, and attacks Aaron, initiating chaos. With no alternative for survival, everyone jumps into the pool while Ben circles around, blocking any exit. Nick, Kate's brother, devises a risky plan to push the chimpanzee. Gathering courage, he manages to throw him into the water. For an instant, it seems to work. However, Ben clings to the edge. As soon as Nick lowers his guard, the animal propels himself with force and violently hurls him to the ground. The impact is so brutal that Nick's skull fractures, and he dies instantly. The girls go into shock, especially Kate, who becomes paralyzed at the sight of her brother's death. Ben does not flee. He remains there to terrorize them, laughing disturbingly as saliva drips from his mouth. It becomes confirmed that he is infected with rabies. Lucy realizes the situation is critical and that Aaron needs immediate help, so she carefully exits the pool. Ben remains motionless, staring at Lucy without blinking. Her goal is to reach the float, so she grabs it and throws it into the pool so the others can stay afloat. Even so, she does not immediately return to the water. Lucy decides to risk her own life by approaching Ben further, because the phone is near him and she knows she must take that risk or no one will come to help. When it seems Ben will reach her, one of the girls screams to distract him, and Lucy seizes the moment to grab the phone and dive back into the pool. When they try to call, they realize the screen is shattered and the keypad does not function. Desperate, they access recent calls and dial the last number. By irony of fate, the call reaches the boys from the plane, who are at a party. Lucy and her friends beg for help, but they assume it is a prank and hang up. Meanwhile, Ben swings from the lights above the pool and suddenly attacks Hannah, brutally tearing out part of her hair. Terrified, Aaron asks why he is doing that, and Lucy replies in a chilling manner that Ben is no longer there and that the virus has taken over his body. Elsewhere, Adam is busy at a book signing event when he receives a call from the veterinarian, but ignores it due to being occupied. Shortly afterward, a message arrives informing him that the mongoose tested positive for rabies. Adam is shocked and states that the disease does not exist in Hawaii, but the veterinarian says the tests will be repeated. Worried, Adam tries calling Lucy, but her phone is in the bedroom and no one answers. Back at the house, the girls realize their only option is to retrieve Nick's phone left in the living room. Lucy and Kate gather courage, leave the pool, and silently enter the house toward the device. Along the way, Lucy accidentally bumps into the remote control, and the television turns on loudly. Upon hearing the noise, Ben runs toward them, and with no escape, they quickly hide inside a closet. Ben approaches the television where a cartoon is playing, and for a second seems calmer, but soon he destroys the device in a fit of rage. Frightened, Kate steps back and knocks something over. The noise draws Ben's attention, and he advances to the closet, violently tearing the doors. The girls hide among the clothes, holding their breath in panic. Ben enters the closet and searches frantically, coming dangerously close, but by pure luck fails to find them and leaves. Lucy gathers courage to exit first and signals for Kate to remain hidden while she seeks help. As she steps out, she grabs the phone and attempts to call, but suddenly a disturbing voice echoes from Ben's tablet, declaring that Lucy is bad. A chill runs through her body as she looks and sees Ben sitting there, staring menacingly. Lucy tries to flee, but the chimpanzee leaps down and attacks her. Kate reacts quickly, grabs a piece of wood and strikes Ben to save her friend. Seizing the opportunity, they run outside and lock the door. However, Ben knows how to open doors and begins forcing entry. Kate holds him back for a few seconds before he starts violently smashing against the glass. The glass does not break immediately, and Ben retreats furiously. For a moment they believe they are safe, but Lucy realizes he has only stepped back to gain momentum. The next second, he charges at full force, shattering the glass and exiting the house. The girls flee desperately, and during the escape, Ben catches Kate, brutally assaults her, and she falls down the stairs near the pool. Lucy returns to look for Kate and is horrified to see Ben crushing her head with a stone until she dies mercilessly. After killing her, Lucy becomes the next target. She runs without stopping and is about to jump into the pool when Ben catches and attacks her again. At that moment, Hannah emerges from the water to help, throws a rope around his neck, and dives back into the pool with Lucy. They pull with all their strength, attempting to drag him under and drown him, knowing chimpanzees cannot swim, but they cannot maintain the necessary force. Ben frees himself once more, and their last hope slips away. Meanwhile, Adam finishes his commitment, but remains uneasy, as his daughters continue not answering the phone, and the thought that his chimpanzee may have rabies will not leave his mind. During this same period, the boys from the plane, Drew and Phil, arrive at Lucy's house, since she had sent the location during the call. Upon arrival, they separate to search for the girls, believing it is merely a prank or surprise, unaware that Ben is already watching and pursuing them with lethal intent. Shortly afterward, Drew enters one of the bedrooms, thinking he will find the girls there. Seeing no one, he turns on the light, looks around, and picks up a framed photo, realizing with unease that those girls kept a chimpanzee. The atmosphere becomes terrifying when Drew faces Ben, who slowly approaches, using his robust stature to intimidate him. Attempting to remain calm, Drew thinks of distracting him. First, jokingly, he tells Ben to clap, and surprisingly, the animal obeys. Then Drew grabs the keys and shakes them to attract attention, planning to throw them away and escape. But the plan fails, as Ben does not even glance at the keys and continues advancing menacingly. Drew maintains the act for a few seconds, but realizing the animal will not stop and is about to attack, loses control and begins shouting insults, which ignites the chimpanzee's fury. Suddenly, Ben leaps upon him with extreme violence, grabs his face, and with brutal force pulls until completely tearing off his jaw. The scene becomes grotesque as Ben plays with the detached jaw as if it were a toy before placing it back onto Drew's body. Afterward, he goes in search of Phil. Meanwhile, Phil finds the girls still hiding in the pool, and Lucy, upon regaining consciousness, makes desperate gestures for him to remain silent and call for help, but Phil ignores the warning and begins screaming, sealing his fate. Hearing the screams, Ben appears immediately. Phil attempts to flee in panic and grabs a shovel to defend himself. While Ben savagely beats him, Hannah takes advantage of the distraction, leaves the pool, and runs without looking back. She grabs her keys and phone, but in desperation enters the wrong car, the boys' vehicle. Realizing the mistake, she runs to her own car. However, Ben is already there. At that moment, Hannah understands something terrifying. The animal is not only dangerous, but intelligent. Ben holds her car keys, calmly unlocks the door, and approaches. Hannah calls the police in panic, begging for help, but in desperation forgets the address. Suddenly, Ben enters the car through the trunk, and when Hannah tries to escape, he drags her back and kills her mercilessly. The scene ends with the car completely covered in blood. Returning to Lucy, she exits the pool and heads toward the house. The floor is covered with shards of glass, and she steps on a sharp piece, feeling intense pain but suppressing a scream. However, it is too late. Ben appears and lunges at her, and at that exact moment, Adam, her father, arrives home. Upon hearing the car, the chimpanzee abandons Lucy and runs toward him. Even wounded, Lucy tries to reach him to warn him of the danger. Adam enters the house, shocked to see everything overturned, but being deaf, he does not perceive the chaos behind him and goes to the dining table to eat a slice of pizza. Unable to alert him, Lucy tries to approach, but Adam goes upstairs, leaving his daughter once again at the mercy of the animal. Ben returns and for a brief moment appears calm as before, gently holding Lucy's hand, but it is merely pretense. And in the next second, he violently twists her wrist. Despite pain and panic, Lucy presses one of the chimpanzee's open wounds, causing him pain and gaining time to hide beneath the sofa. Enraged, Ben tries to reach her, but Aaron arrives and draws his attention. The animal advances against Aaron with fury, and Lucy knows that infected with rabies, he is even stronger, yet she gathers strength to protect her sister. At the same time, Adam finds Drew's body and immediately understands what happened. In desperation, he runs through the house searching for his daughters. Ben attacks Lucy again, and when everything seems lost, Adam appears and attempts to distract him with the whistle, but this time the sound has no effect. Ben attacks him brutally, and Adam fights as best he can to defend his daughters. Yet the animal's strength is far superior, and he is nearly killed. Seeing this, Lucy grabs a shovel and begins striking him to end his life and avenge her friends, but the tool breaks in half, and Ben seizes the opportunity to lunge at her again. Adam, gathering his remaining strength, manages to hit him, leaving him stunned briefly. Then he grabs a nearby bottle, smashes it against the chimpanzee's head, and drives the glass shards into his chest, apparently reaching the heart. For a moment, it seems everything is over, and the family embraces, believing the nightmare has ended, but the relief lasts only seconds, as Ben rises once more and advances with all his remaining force. Realizing the danger, Lucy pushes her father and sister away and takes the impact. Both fall, but Adam manages to hold her. Finally, Ben collapses, and a sharp piece of wood on the floor pierces his body, this time killing him definitively. Shortly afterward, the police arrive. Having traced the earlier call, Aaron is immediately taken to the hospital to receive rabies treatment, and the doctors assure she will recover. Adam and Lucy embrace, exhausted and traumatized. Suddenly, Lucy hears the sound of the tablet and is startled, but she realizes it is only a police officer handling the device, and thus this terrifying story reaches its end.